So, what's up, everybody? I'm J.R. Holden. I'm a filmmaker, photographer based in Dover, Delaware. There's a lot of people that I follow, and I feel like every creator does a what's in my kit, what's in my bag type of video. So, I figure, hey, I might as well try this thing out myself too. So most of the times when I show up to a job or show up to a gig, I'm gonna have this Pelican, right? I got this Pelican on Facebook Marketplace many, many years ago, and it's tried and true. It hasn't broken, hasn't failed. All the Pelican things that I have work. I also have some knockoff Pelican stuff from like Apache, from Harbor Freight. Those also do the job too well, right? So inside this Pelican, I usually keep my main kit. So if I'm doing a wedding, I'm doing an event, all my main lenses and audio sources will be in here. I have a separate bag that I use for audio, and I'll show that later in the video, but my main kit for audio is gonna be inside of here. So I switch this out depending on the job I'm at. So sometimes I have lenses in here, sometimes I have more camera bodies. The organizer at the top allows me to put different batteries and odds and ends that I may need for a job. So this really varies on what the job is. And I'll go into more in depth I'll go more in depth about different videos that I pack and pre-prep for videos, but this is kind of what it looks like most of the time. So each job that I do uses different tools, right? So I may be on a real estate shoot one day, I might need a wide angle lens. I might be doing some portraits and I need a long zoom lens. So what I use to jobs varies all the time. And having a system like the Pelican is always nice to be able to switch out lenses and equipment and camera bodies when you need them. So there's a couple staples that I always have in my kit. So in the kit that I use, I really have one camera that pretty much goes with me to every job, right? And it's the Canon R3. For me, this camera body checks everything off the list that I need. Great autofocus, great low light, ability to switch from photo and video at the click of a switch, right? It's such a good camera, and it's kind of overlooked in the community. I don't know why. I think because it was kind of expensive at first, and since then there's been a lot of different cameras that came out at different price points that may have people going to those, but for the price that it is at now, I don't see any other camera on the market that has this flexibility, the battery life. I mean, it's just a workhorse camera, and this is with me almost at every shoot that I do. So this is, yeah, the Canon R3. So when I'm doing video specific jobs and it's some long form type of content, a lot of times I'll use Blackmagics, right? So they're a great tool, and these are the Blackmagic 4Ks, not the 6Ks, not any of the full frame 6Ks, not the Pixis. It's the OG Blackmagic Pocket 4K. And I keep it very minimum. I have a core battery on the plate, and I use this for a lot of, like I said, speaking engagements, podcast settings, C and D cams for weddings, corporate events. This is such a good little camera to just throw up on a tripod, hit record, and forget about it. Like I said, no record limits, the ability to go through B-roll if you want to, or ProRes. It just knocks off all the things. Like I said, battery life was one of those things that people hated about this camera, and it is true, the battery life is terrible. As long as you're putting something like this on it or you're rigging it up, these cameras, I feel like in 2024, going into 2025, it's such bang for your buck to have a camera like this. And I have two of these in my kit, and I'm never afraid to go pick up a third one because they're such good little cameras, man. So another camera that's in my kit is the Canon R5C. One of those cameras that if you have it, you know, and if you don't know about it, such a good camera, right? Being able to have those cinema menus that you love from the Canon cinema cameras, right? Then be able to switch over to having a full-fledged photo beast of a camera. I mean, it's such bang for your buck value, right? Yes, there are some little quirks about it, but there's quirks with every camera, right? There's no camera that's perfect. But the Canon R5C is one of those cameras that if they made another version of it that fixed that battery life, oh my God, I'm ready to sign up. I'd be ready to buy another one. It'd be in my B&H cart, my Adorama cart in a heartbeat, right? Like I said, the cinema menus, that dual base ISO, which helps in low light environments and interview situations that it's just clutch, right? Being able to have a true 35 mil crop in sensor as opposed to that like digital crop that Canon has in their bodies, it makes a difference, right? Again, there are some things that I wish it had, but for what I use it for, There are workarounds around all camera systems, like I said, but the Canon R5C mixed with the Canon R3 is what's gonna be in my main kit today and going into 2025. Now some lens options. I use several lenses and my lens selection pretty much changes all the time. If you know me or you know my circle, I tell people everything's for sale, right? Because cameras and lenses are all just tools, right? It's really about you as a creator learning how to use what you have, knowing the style that you want to shoot. You know, any lens can do that. Any camera can do that. Things can give you looks. There's a lot of ways you can edit things in post as well. So yes, it is nice to have good equipment, right? But also at the same time, just having equipment, you can get the job done. One of the main things I use for real estate and just specialty shots is this Tokina 11-16. This lens is one of those lenses that's really affordable and like underrated, right? Being able to do shots at a sporting event, at a wedding, in a packed dance floor, in a crowded little conference space, be able to go that wide, 11-16. It is a crop lens, right? So, but still, being able to go that low and having a two-way with little to no distortion on the edges, it's a great little lens to have. And like I said, it's mad affordable. Another lens that I use a lot, and it's one of my workhorse lenses, you'll mostly see me this in my bag all the time, is the RF 24-105. I've had a 24-105 in all of my kits from when I first started. It's one of those lenses that's very affordable, has a great focal range. The L version of it, and even the EF and the RF versions, it's really well built. The quality is good. And it just gives you that versatility to flex between 24 wide and semi-telephoto at the 105 range. IBIS, the autofocus is nice and crispy with all the RF cameras. And like I said, it's affordable to have. Now, it is an f4 lens, which kind of sucks in certain situations. But as you grow down the tree of image making, you will understand that like stuff like lighting, stuff like composition, and the ability with cameras in 2024 going into 2025, the ISO ability, cranking your ISO to 3200, 6400, 5000, it's doable. Even still having that f4 and getting a good clean image, especially now in today's editing world where you can put the noise and noise reduction on these images and they just clean up so good. So yeah, that's a 24-105. Another lens that should be in every videographer's kit, it's a highly goated lens, is the Sigma 18-35 1.8. I mean, is there anything bad to say about this lens? I mean, since I started videography and learned about this lens, it's been in my kit. Maybe not this particular one. Like I said earlier in the video, everything's for sale, right? But I've bought and sold this lens at least 5 or 6 times. It's just something where you just have to have it. 18-35 on a super 35 lens or that crop sensor lens, it's so good. It looks so good. Being at 1.8 lens is such a low light champion. So again, you're in clubs, you're doing parties, recap videos, you're at weddings. I mean, it's such a versatile lens. And in the systems that I use, like I said, with the Blackmagic cameras, with the R5C and 35 mode, it's such a versatile lens. And again, another lens I have in the kit is my 50-1.2. It's another lens that's like very special. That 50-35 range is good for photography. I love it, and I'm falling more in love with the 50 mil. And it's just so good, especially with today's cameras. The autofocus with cameras is so good that it makes these old EF lenses just shine, gives a new life, right? So this is a new addition kind of to the kit, but it's a great addition to the kit as well. Another thing, I know people don't know about this boy. This is the 80-200 2.8 lens, man. I mean, it's a tank of a lens, right? 80-200 2.8. And people are gonna be like, well, it's not a 70-200. What type of lens is this? Do your research. Now, it's a tank. It weighs a lot. Autofocus is slow. But if you're doing events, somebody's talking on a podium, you have somebody standing still. Oh, I mean, the images are so great because this thing is full of glass, man. It's full of glass. So a lot of times when you're starting off, a lot of people just forget about audio capture, right? They forget about the sound quality of the videos they're creating, right? Even when I first started, it took me forever just to get a microphone. I didn't think I needed one. My camera had one on it, and I thought that was good. I would use the audio from those videos, and that would be my audio that I use, and I thought nothing was wrong with that. I wish earlier in my career that I invested more in two things, lighting and audio. So this is my audio kit that I have. It's so important to capture it, whether you're at a live event, a wedding, a conference, you're doing a podcast, audio capture. People listen to videos, right? They just don't watch it, they listen to them as well. So this kit, it's not something glamorous. I've invested a little bit, not too much. I have just enough for me to get the job done for all the work that I do. So inside the kit, it's an Apache Pelican from Harbor Freight. Apache Pelican from Harbor Freight. Like I said, they do the job. So inside my kit, as you can see, I have a lot of different things in here. It's not the most organized, but I actually do jobs. So for me, one of the main things I bring to every job is this Zoom recorder here. It's just the Zoom 8.6. I've had it for years. It hasn't failed me. It has duct tape on the back to keep the cover on. It's missing the SD slot, but it does the job, right? The quality of this thing is amazing. It allows me to have multiple inputs coming in. I can run a boom mic separate. I can run a lav mic into it. I can run it out into a system. Able to audio monitor everything with the headphones. I mean, it's such a great thing. And with the simple memory card, 32 gig or 64 gig that everybody has lying around now, you can have hours of recordings. I mean, I want to say the same memory card that I haven't formatted it in years, right? So yeah, this Zoom recorder, it's one of the things that I keep in my kit. Another thing that I use, again, is a Zoom F2 Lav. Anytime that I'm doing any audio that I don't want to run into camera, I'm using this 32-bit float. It's reliable. It does the job, right? A new addition to my case is a DJI mics too. I'm using those right now, and I love these little things. They connect quick, be able to plug it into your camera, plug it into a phone. It's just very, very easy to use. And like I said, the flexibility to have these different tools and use them for every job is so important to have, right? I have a little cord, a bag of cords. So any extensions, any different adapters I had this plug here. Another thing I don't think people don't be having is headphones to monitor the audio. And again, this is just a simple Apple headset that everybody has lying around. I choose it to monitor. Small, it's quick, fix in the bag. It's very nice to have. Another thing I have in this kit, a Rode Wireless Go set, the Wireless 2s. They just do the job, right? They just work. And being able to have somebody mic'd up, having a boom, and then having something like this running separate to another board or coming out of a speaker, it's so clutch to have. And it's having the ability to be versatile when you go somewhere, right? That's what filmmaking is about. And photography is really about problem solving, and having the right tools in your box allows you to fix anything. My boom mic that I use for talking heads and just on-camera stuff is an NTG5. I love this little thing. It sounds so good. It's just so good to have something like this in your kit. It's an investment, and there's so many different levels that you can get, but you buy one of these once, you never really have to buy another one, right? So that's the boom mic that I have. And I have this bag of just like random stuff, man, like little Rode cords, XLR to 3.5 adapters, some more little adapters. I mean, just adapters on adapters, like more adapters, because you never know what type of setups people are going to have. Some people might have RCA, some people have 1/4 inch outs. So you just never know. And having these things handy, so when the DJ tells you, yo, you have 1/4 inch XLR, you be able to take those from your tool shed and use those in your real applications. So it's always nice to have these. Another little sleeper that people don't have. Well, another sleeper in my tool, it's this little Rode stick, right? And it's such a little tool to have, but it's easy. You could just take a Rode kit, and I have another Rode kit specifically for this, the original Rodes. So you can just take this, slide it on, and then you have a handheld stick mic. In so many situations, this is just clutch to have. Right, being able to just give this to somebody and do it on the street, interviews on the go at a conference, and having this is just so clutch. And these are relatively cheap to have. And that's pretty much all that I got in my kit. Oh yeah, I have the Bumblebee's Industry Kit, so being able to hide lavs. I'm not gonna go into depth about this, there's a lot of videos, but being able to hide lavs under shirts when you need to, when you want that clean look, they do sell this kit and it's really nice. And I have one in my kit just in case I need to be able to have the flexibility to hide lavs and such underneath people's shirts. That's in. And that wraps up my audio case. So there's a lot of people today who use different methods to capture the footage, right? You can be handheld, you can have a tripod, you can be gimbal, easy reg, they have the sax now. And so there's a lot of different ways. So for me, I use tripods, this monopod, and then I use a gimbal here and there. I'm still using an old school RS2 Pro, and it works. It handles the payload of the camera that I'm putting on it. I usually just fly the R3 on here with the 24-105 or that 11-16, and it handles it perfectly. Very easy to use, very easy to set up. And I really much enjoy this pistol style group and the DJI product. So a lot of my things you'll see is all DJI related, but I really love this gimbal and most DJI products in general. For a monopod, I have a Sarai monopod. It's the carbon fiber one. And I do have on the head small rig fluid head. So when I'm on a set, I have the ability to easily pan up and down. I have a variety of tripods. I have a bunch of the small brig ones. I have some Manfrotto ones. And for me, just the payload's the most important part of that. I do want to invest in some higher end tripods when my rigs increase in size. But the tripods that I have now, they're just doing the job, right? It does the job. And if it's not broke, don't fix it. But yeah, that's what I kind of use. A lot of the jobs I do nowadays are handheld. I do like the handheld style. And it also goes with building out your rigs or having IBIS inside your cameras. But yeah, these are the ways that I stabilize footage when I'm on a set. So one thing that always fascinated me about video production and being on sets and seeing people's sets was having director's monitors. And once I first saw one, I was like, damn, I really need that in my kit. But the prices for these were just kind of just out of my range for me to be like, oh yeah, I should get that. I need that in my kit. Once I saw DJI drop their SDR version of theirs, and they already had the previous Pro version, but once they dropped the SDR version, I knew that I had to have it. And it's helping me create this video right now. As you can see on the back, SDR's there chilling, right? And it's just helping me be able to monitor this video, helping me make sure I stay in frame, making sure that it looks the way it's supposed to. And having tools like this when you go on set help even more. Being able to just pass this off to your client, not having them over your shoulder, having them be able to look at the frame, check off the frame, say, that looks good, let's go. Helps tremendously. It just makes your day easier, makes everybody's day easier when you have these type of things to be able to show people. I do have this on a Portkeys monitor. It's the LP7, I believe it is, and this is a monitor again. Once I had the SDR, I knew I needed to have something like this to portray. I want the small HD monitors, they're beautiful monitors. But like I said, I just needed something to get the job done. And this helps tremendously. I didn't go out and buy these things. I went out and I worked from day one to get the things that I needed. I mean, I'm telling you, when I first started, I quit my job and I took my 401k, literally. And I went out and then I bought a camera off Facebook Marketplace that had a kit lens, it had a little bag, and I tell you, it was a Canon T3i, and I tell you what, I loved every bit of having that camera. And that's what kind of just hooked me, knowing that I could create with this tool, right? And I had no idea what the space was like. I had no idea what you could do. I had no idea where gear could take you and cameras could take you at the time, but I just knew that I wanted to create. I drove up to Wilmington to get this stuff off Facebook Marketplace. The lady who was selling it, she was so nice. We met in some random shopping center and she sold it to me. And I remember when I was driving back home, the feeling I was looking at it in the driver's seat, in the passenger seat, like, damn, we can really do some things now. Like I said, that's the reason why I'm doing these, to kind of show the process. And I'm gonna keep doing these videos as long as I can, as long as I have the time to. And if you enjoy watching these, I'm happy that you do. If there's anything that you want me to talk about, I'm always willing to talk about it. So please, like, share, subscribe, share, save it, send it to your peoples. I'm Jared Holden. Thanks for watching.